Why? Some say he's cocky, arrogant, disrespectful, ill-mannered, and unsportsmanlike. Whatever the reasons are, there is no doubt this list is shocking. But nothing is more shocking than the last two players who hate Mbappe. Until then, let's all listen to what Gerard Piqué has to say. Number 1. Gerard Piqué. This guy hates Mbappe. If you want to know the reason why, just go to YouTube and search up February 16, 2021. Now pay attention to the following data from that day. It reads 105 million babies were born, 75 million bald men applying for hair transplants, more than 800 DMs were rejected by IG baddies, 650,000 simps had their credit cards borrowed by girls who don't even like him, and over 400,000 virgins lost their, well, virginity. What do all these numerical values have in common? Yes, that's right. None of these numbers are more shocking than the scoreline of 4-1 reflected from the match between Barcelona and PSG. It was Kylian Mbappe who led this heavy defeat, scoring a hat-trick against the likes of Jordi Alba and Gerard Piqué. And to make matters worse, Mbappe showed zero respect to his opponents after the cameras caught him saying the following to Alba. This infuriated Gerard Piqué, who felt that Mbappe had no respect for senior players. "Who are you going to kill?" as he shouted back to Mbappe. Although Piqué took a heavy L against Mbappe and PSG, I have no doubt he'll be delighted to hear that number 2, Emiliano Martinez, also hates Mbappe. After a thrilling final in Qatar, the Argentinians threw a crazy parade. It was filled with singing, dancing, food, and dolls? See, during the parade, Argentina fans noticed Emiliano Martinez holding something weird in his arms. One fan's live footage revealed the doll with Mbappe's face on it. It's safe to say Martinez enjoyed the doll a bit too much, cause from the looks of it, bro almost replicated his Golden Glove celebration with the doll in his hands. It's safe to say Mbappe will not appreciate this at all. But I gotta give it to him for this very classy response to a question about his thoughts of Martinez and his disrespectful celebrations. Now, I have no doubt the next player had a good relationship with Mbappe. However, after things went south on the pitch, it nearly ruined the beautiful strike partnership between Mbappe and number 3, Olivier Giroud. My guess is that it all started when Olivier did something crazy to Mbappe. Yeah, now I may not know a lot of things like how it feels to go to second base or even first base, but there is one thing I do know, and that's to never touch the hair of a man who's got waves. It's no surprise Mbappe and Giroud's relationship on the pitch took a tumble. The AC Milan striker expressed his opinions during a press conference. "I was quiet because sometimes you make a run and the balls just arrive. I don't pretend to always make the right calls, but I tried hard to offer solutions in the penalty area." But even after getting his point across and hoping that his international teammate would take a step back and listen, Mbappe hit back and expressed his side of things. He didn't say anything bad. It was more about releasing it publicly. "I heard about it in the press. I saw him in the dressing room and congratulated him on his goals." It was devastating for both Mbappe and Giroud to see their relationship take a tumble. It's no doubt they're an unstoppable force alongside each other. With Giroud up front as a target man that takes up space, it makes him the focal point for defenders, whilst Mbappe makes dangerous runs from behind. So if I'm a French person, I'd be glad they made up. Cause unlike this next person on the list, he probably wishes nothing but failure to Mbappe and his career. Number 4. Benoit Ikoto. Benoit Ikoto doesn't like Mbappe, and that's because of one reason. The former Cameroonian international has always been outspoken when it comes to French players that don't represent their African countries of origin, which is why he took to Twitter to express his discontent. European players of African origin who hold Africa in their hearts and who want to help the sport in Africa, blah blah blah, while rushing to play for a European national team make me chuckle. This comes after Mbappe announced an initiative to launch a platform that would see African football gain attention. To address his beef with Ikoto, Mbappe tweeted the following: "African players who hold Africa in their hearts and want to help African sports, blah 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 blah, while fighting with a teammate on the international scene in 2014, you make me softly laugh, but these are your values." And to rub salt in the wounds, Mbappe took time to head back to his father's homeland and received nothing short of a hero's welcome. Never thought I'd ever see a 19-year-old win a Twitter feud against a 34-year-old man. But then again, this is football, and football is often cruel. Like having senior members from your team absolutely turn against you. Which is what happened between Mbappe and Sergio Ramos. Number 5. Sergio Ramos. As a former senior player for PSG, Sergio Ramos prides himself on respect. Respect for young players, respect for coaches, and most importantly, respect for senior players. It's no doubt Sergio Ramos is of elite stature. Having been one of the most decorated footballers of all time, it means he also expects footballers to respect Lionel Messi and Neymar, two former members of PSG's senior players, not to mention two of the greatest South American legends of this generation. When Sergio Ramos first joined PSG, he was merely another addition to a squad that would potentially and finally bring the UCL to Parc des Princes. However, Ramos soon found out about the toxic environment at the club, and it was during a game against Montpellier when it all started to make sense. It was clear that Mbappe's attitude was that of a disrespectful person, especially after he did this to Messi. Sergio Ramos took notice and decided to remind Mbappe that it's never cool to disrespect the GOAT like that. As we come down to the last two players on the list, it comes as to no surprise that one of them is Lionel Messi. I mean, if this next video doesn't sum up Mbappe's feelings about Messi joining PSG, then I don't know what will. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I love Mbappe, seriously I do. But that's not cool, man. Imagine a 24-year-old shouting at Messi like he's some dog on the street. It's no wonder number 6 Wayne Rooney had this to say about Mbappe. A 22 to 23-year-old player throwing a shoulder at Messi, I have never seen a bigger ego than this in my life. Someone remind Mbappe that at 22 years old, Messi had 4 Ballon d'Ors. Oof. A bit harsh, Wayne, a bit harsh. Although it is a fair point, I don't think it's appropriate for a football veteran to drag a younger player like that at all. What do you guys think? Is that a fair point from Wayne Rooney, or was it a bit harsh? But don't take too long to comment because we finally get to know why number 7 Lionel Messi hates Mbappe. See, when Messi arrived at PSG, it was football's biggest surprise. No one ever thought that Messi would leave Barcelona, let alone join Paris Saint-Germain, let alone join Paris Saint-Germain. But he did, and it wasn't the most wonderful of experiences for the GOAT. Messi was booed off on a number of occasions as fans wanted him out. And even after winning the World Cup with Argentina, Messi explained that he was the only player who was never recognized, or at least received a warm welcome for his triumph against France. I'm no mathematician or anything, but if I had to put 2 and 2 together, I'd say that this has Mbappe written all over it. Perhaps a focal point to consider regarding the deterioration of their relationship wasn't just the World Cup. See, when Mbappe signed for PSG, it was already hard enough to shine with Neymar lingering around, and he showed no signs of slowing down. This meant that Mbappe had to work extremely hard to gain the spotlight, and now with Messi in the vicinity, it was bound to be chaos. After Mbappe signed a multi-million-dollar contract in the summer of 2022, part of the clause included was that he had to be the playmaker of the team, which meant that all PSG attacks would begin and end with Mbappe. Thing is, that was always going to be an issue when you have a force of nature like Lionel Messi, who is a natural playmaker. It's no wonder the pair couldn't work together properly, and for PSG fans, it was a real shame. Who knew what a trio of MSN would produce if all was smooth behind the scenes? Speaking of the trio, the final member certainly did not get along with Mbappe at all. Like, I'm talking beef of the highest order. Word on the street is that one time, things got so heated between Mbappe and this next player that they literally threw hands with one another, and they had to be separated by Sergio Ramos. And as you've guessed already, I'm talking about none other than number 8, Neymar. Neymar's transfer to Al Hilal rocked the football world. after Don Fabrizio confirmed the departure of the Brazilian. Shortly after, Mbappe ended his strike and returned to PSG training. While the departure of Neymar was finally confirmed and brought relief to PSG fans, it also confirmed another long-standing suspicion among football fans. Neymar and Mbappe hated each other. Because unlike Neymar, all former PSG departures received a heartfelt message from Kylian Mbappe, bidding goodbye and wishing them good luck on their new journeys. All except for one person. It wasn't always like this between Neymar and Mbappe. Truth is, one could say they were like best friends. Their bromance was one of the best footballs ever seen. From playful pranks, attending NBA games together, and forming a deadly link-up that devastated European opponents, it's no wonder they combined for 335 goals in just 6 seasons together. So, what went wrong? It all started after Mbappe's crazy contract. See, Mbappe was made sporting director of PSG, and according to sources, he tried to use his power by asking the club to kick Neymar out. Sheesh, I guess Mbappe took that one J. Cole lyric way too seriously.
It's to act like two legends cannot coexist.
Mbappe wanted all the glory to himself. It was clear that if PSG had any chance of winning the UCL, they could not have two titans sharing the same stage. In a game against Montpellier, tensions worsened between the two, after Mbappe demanded the ball from Neymar to take a penalty despite missing an earlier chance. It was even reported that this was the moment where things took a turn for the worse, with Neymar even liking 2 controversial tweets about Mbappe. What do you guys think? Was this an appropriate response from Neymar? Could he not have taken his matter privately? And as for Mbappe, is he really a better penalty taker than Neymar, or was it all just about his ego? Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.